Now for the EFD, Mr. Farage.
Well, the air is thick with denial in this chamber this morning. There's been a major political event that's happened since we last met. No one's mentioned it. Italy had an election, and 55% of the electorate voted for Eurosceptic political parties. Indeed, Mr Grillo's movement managed to get 26%. It's quite tough in European politics these days to tell who the comedians are. And what's absolutely clear is that Eurozone membership is completely incompatible with nation-state democracy. You can do what you like to take away the powers of national parliaments, but people will go on voting, and I think there's a trend developing right across Europe that Eurosceptic parties are going to get stronger and stronger. And there's complete denial about the Eurozone crisis. You'd think, listening to everybody this morning, that it's over. You know, Mr Barroso comes out with a technocratic speech that everything's fine and dandy. Mind you, far better than the unutterable drivel we had from Olli Rehn yesterday, which sent many members to sleep. But, you know, you're not facing up to the consequences for what you've done. Mr Verhofstadt talks about a lost generation in Spain. Mr Daul talks about youngsters struggling to be fed by their families in Greece. And all of that's true, but it's being caused by the euro. And that is what you're failing to recognise. The Eurozone has been a complete economic disaster. And the other thing that you're not ever going to face up to...
Verhofstadt, trotzdem, Sie müssen sich...
Mr. Verhofstadt, please.
It's okay.
Okay.
The real problem that you won't face up to, though, is the state of the French economy and the fact that France is now diverging by the month with Germany. So right at the very heart of the European project and the Eurozone project, there is a disaster coming down the tracks, and I'm afraid in the end the whole thing is going to break up. But I would also point out you're in denial over Romania and Bulgaria. Those countries are racked with corruption and organised crime. They should never have been allowed to join the European Union. And I want to make it absolutely clear, we in UKIP do not believe it's right and fair to have total open borders from next year for unlimited numbers of people from those countries to come to Britain to work, but also, if they want, to claim benefits. And as the results in the recent Eastleigh by-election showed, the British electorate are increasingly saying that enough is enough. It's not just us. The mayor of Duisburg in Germany has now publicly said that the massive influx from Romania and Bulgaria is causing huge social problems. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to face up to it. We should not be in political union with Romania and Bulgaria.
Mr. Farage, Mr. Calvin has a question for you. Mr. Calvin, proceed.
Mr. Farage, I raised the blue card because you keep making the internal politics without basing yourself on figures. And let me give you some figures. For every 2,000 British citizens, there is one Bulgarian. For a town of 100,000 people, you have 50. You call this pressure. Out of any 600 unemployed in the UK, you have one Bulgarian. You call this pressure. Bulgarian and Romanian students are spending £30 million as taxes for studies and living expenditures in Britain annually. You call this pressure. I am afraid that your domestic politics have nothing to do with the reality, and you are going to see that at the next elections. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Let me give you some figures, not ones that I really feel comfortable talking about. They're so shocking. There are 68,000 Romanians living in Britain. And over the course of the last 5 years, in just one police area, the Metropolitan Police, there have been, believe it or not, 27,000 arrests of Romanians. Over 90% of ATM fraud that takes place in London is now being committed by Romanian criminal gangs. And that's just the Met. We haven't got the figures from across the rest of the country. And whilst with immigration you can get good people that come from other countries, you can also get bad people. And the point I made in my speech, sir, is that Romania and Bulgaria, I'm afraid, are in the grip of organised crime, and we don't want those people coming into our country.
Das Wort hat jetzt für die Vereinigte Linke